All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today we are diving deep. We're going to build the ultimate blueprint for conquering some of the toughest intranet test automation challenges out there, and we'll be using a really complex Thai debt management system as our case study for success.
Okay, so here's what we've got on tap. First, we're going to really define the problem. What is the internet testing challenge? Then, we'll build a solid foundation using some advanced open source techniques. After that, we'll explore the power of new AI tools, compare our options, and finally, reveal a multi-layered blueprint for a truly resilient solution. Right, so what is it that makes automating a corporate internet so incredibly difficult? Especially when you're dealing with something tricky, like handling Thai language data.
I mean, if you've ever tried to automate a system like this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The sheer pain of trying to grab a key piece of data like yacht ni tantone, which is just an initial debt amount.
And look, these pain points, they're pretty much universal. You've got your flaky tests that just randomly fail for no good reason. You've got data values hidden away with no unique IDs to grab onto. And of course, the login nightmares, those complex corporate authentication hurdles that kill your scripts before they even get started.
So, why does the traditional approach fail so badly? Well, it's just too rigid. A tiny little change in the user interface can cause the entire automated test to completely collapse. And when that happens, you lose all trust in the system.
Okay, but hold on. Before we even think about throwing money at fancy premium tools, let's talk about the powerful open source foundation that you absolutely have to master first.
To build a framework that can actually last, the absolute key here is organization. And that's where something called the Page Object Model, or POM, is a total game changer. It cleans up your code, makes your tests way more readable, and most importantly, so much easier to update when the application eventually changes.
Now this is super cool. This is how we actually solve that core problem of grabbing our data. Using something called XPath axes, we can find an element based on its relationship to another one. It's like finding a value right next to its label, even if the value itself has no unique ID at all. Now, even though XPath is a superhero for our specific problem, it's not the tool you should reach for first. Any good automation framework follows a really clear priority list for choosing locators. You do this to make sure your tests are as fast and as stable as they can possibly be.
You know, big enterprise systems, they just love to throw curveballs at you, like iframes and the shadow DOM. These are like little encapsulated worlds that your test scripts can't see into by default. Knowing how to navigate in and out of these environments is, frankly, a non-negotiable skill for any serious automation engineer.
All right, we've got our foundation solid. Now let's climb up to that super premium layer and see how it builds on everything we've just talked about. Especially when UI changes happen all the time, AI offers a pretty powerful solution. Seriously, think of it like your car's GPS. If there's a roadblock on your usual route, it doesn't just give up, it finds you another way. That's what self-healing does for your tests. It adapts to changes in real time, which drastically cuts down on how much time you spend fixing broken tests.
But, and this is a big but, all this power comes with a potential catch. What if the AI makes a mistake? A false positive repair, like clicking the cancel button instead of a submit button that looks almost identical. And this right here is what separates the good tools from the great ones. They don't just magically fix the problem and leave you wondering. They show you exactly what broke, why it broke, and how they fixed it, giving you the ultimate control to approve the change and build real trust.
Okay, so with all that in mind, how in the world do you pick the right tool for your team? Let's break down some of the big players and compare them.
First, let's be crystal clear on the fundamental difference here. A traditional locator is like a street address. If the street name changes, you're totally lost. An AI locator is more like knowing a building's color, its size, and what its neighbors look like. So even if the address changes, you can still find it.
And what's really fascinating here is that there's a whole spectrum of options. It's not one size fits all. You've got Mabl on the low-code end, which is great for speed. Testim is perfect for enterprise teams that need deep analysis. Katalon is a fantastic all-in-one platform. And then there's Healenium, a powerful open-source library that basically gives superpowers to your existing Selenium code.
So what happens when you run into that last stubborn 5%? The elements that are just impossible to grab with the DOM? Well, for that, we have our trump cards: visual testing and image recognition. These are incredibly powerful allies for ensuring you have complete quality coverage. All right, deep breath. We've covered a ton of ground. So how do we actually put all of these pieces together? Let's assemble the final blueprint for a modern automation architecture that's genuinely robust.
And here it is, the absolute core of our blueprint. The big takeaway here is that this is not about picking just one tool. It's about layering technologies. Each layer is designed to solve a different type of problem, creating a really powerful defense-in-depth strategy for quality.
But of course, this blueprint isn't a magic formula you can just copy and paste. The path that's right for you is going to depend entirely on your team's specific skills, your budget, and of course, your project's goals.
So it really all comes down to this one question. By adopting this kind of multi-layered, intelligent approach, you can finally stop fighting with flaky tests and start building an automation suite that is just as resilient and dynamic as the applications you're testing.